You know, with Mystery Incorporated recently ending its run, there's been, like I've been talking about in the audio videos, there's been a lot of mixed reactions to Mystery Incorporated. Probably more so now, not just between two individuals, but I'm sure there's a lot more that feel the same way. See, recently in my audio video, I asked whether or not Mystery Incorporated was a prequel, because one person who said they're friends with Mitch Wilson, who was one of the people that worked on Scooby-Doo, one of the producers, I think, that worked on Mystery Incorporated, basically I told him that Mystery Incorporated was a prequel. Kind of gave it that idea. But yet, according to Believe It, 1051, I believe, they said they talked to this person too, and they said it was a dream Scrappy-Doo was having. So who's telling the truth? Or is this producer throwing everybody off? Because we pretty much know that that producers and directors and writers can't give too much away about something. So if he's just saying certain things to throw people off, then it's not a surprise that he'd say one thing and say another. But let's say if indeed it is a prequel. Now, if this is indeed true, because, when you think about it, it does kind of make sense, especially in the last episode. Now, I know some people might say, well, the last episode didn't make no sense. What do you mean the last episode? How could it made it seem like a prequel? Well, take a look at the ending. Basically, everything was altered. Everything changed at the end. So basically, anything that happened that was acknowledged, let's say like in the very first episode, and even throughout the series, all of that was basically tossed out the window. Apparently. And all of that was basically tossed out the window when the alteration happened. And if that is the case, then it would explain that Mystery Incorporated was indeed a prequel. But what a way. But what a way for that to happen. I think I mentioned this in the audio video. If it was a prequel, they should have given us some kind of an idea. But the more you think about it, if they would have said right off the bat, oh, by the way, Mystery Incorporated is a prequel, then it would have given away the fact that, all this is taking place before. But then again, it does kind of make sense in a way, like I said, especially with the last episode, because this is not uncommon in any television or movie media, or even books, if you will, novels or comics. Because just when you think something's new, it's probably a sequel, or it's a midquel, or whatever, all of a sudden you find out it's something else. All of a sudden you find out that it's something that you wouldn't expect. I mean, heck, you probably want the most infamous of them all. The most infamous, kind of like, oh, it was nothing but this kind of situation. Try Dallas in its original form. The original Dallas show. Everybody thought a certain character, I think portrayed by Patrick Duffy or something, had died. And yet, at the end of that season, or whatever it was, he was alive. Basically, the entire season of the original Dallas was nothing but a dream. But we didn't know that until the very end. So, it kind of makes sense that perhaps if this is a prequel, if Mystery Incorporated was indeed a prequel, we didn't know it until the very end, after the alteration was made, after the change in the time stream and stuff was done. Because when you think about it, according to what this person said, basically you get the laugh track at the very end, or towards the very end, and from what he was told, the producers, the team behind Mystery Incorporated, tried to get the rights, or tried to get some kind of usage of the "Where Are You" theme. So it's So if this is the case, if the final episode's ending was the case, if you will, and basically showed that all of this was nothing more than a prequel, because of now the changing of the timeline, it wouldn't be that much of a surprise. But again, I understand people may debate that. They will say it can't be a timeline because they flash back to things like Jeepers, It's the Creeper. They flash back to this. Very first episode, they acknowledge all the monsters they faced. All the villains and criminals and monsters and masks that they faced. So it can't be a prequel. It's a sequel. But again, the ending, the final episode, the ending of Mystery Incorporated is up for debate. Because whether or not it was a prequel or not is up for debate. But I posed the question to you guys. Because like I said, it's not the first time it's not the first time anyone thought something was one thing and it turned out to be another. Because like I said, go back to the original Dallas, that one season that was nothing but a dream season. Nobody watching the original Dallas at the time thought it was a dream season. They thought it was just part of the continuity until the very end. So who's to say Mystery Incorporated's entire situation for the past 2 years was nothing but an altered timeline that had to be fixed or altered to be the correct timeline? I'm just saying, folks. I'm just saying. Now, I know some people might say, well, wait a minute. If it was altered, if it's a prequel, then why is Fred suddenly given the okay and blessing by Daphne's parents to marry her? Okay, that's up for debate too, but then again, is it? Because you see, if you want to look at it as a part of the timeline, and kind of look at it like a prequel, we could say that if you wanted to work in the Fred-Daphne engagement, that the engagement was probably put off. That they ended the engagement. Like basically they were not ready for marriage because of all the mysteries they kept solving and perhaps this and that. You get the idea. My point is, a lot of what we could have seen, and I still got to catch up on it, but a lot of what we could have seen could have been just a timeline that needed to be corrected, if you know what I mean. And that by correcting it, thus turned Mystery Incorporated into a prequel in the very ending of the last episode. I know, again, the ending of the last episode is up for debate, and it's always going to be. But until one of the special features on the Blu-rays and the DVDs of Season 2, especially the last episodes, unless one of the bonus features, has the producers come out, the producers and directors come out and confirm exactly what it was, exactly what Mystery Incorporated was, whether it was all new or it was a prequel or whatever, we're never going to know. Because right now it's up for debate. But again, when you think about it, even though I didn't watch the last episode, from what I've read and from what I've understood, it seems to make logical sense. Especially the very end. But let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Video responses are greatly appreciated. I'll talk to you later, but let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think.